From Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I am Adeshawa Josh. Our top stories tonight. Bill to strip vice presidents and governors of immunity passes second reading in the House of Representatives. 2 persons reportedly killed in clash between Abuja Taskforce and commercial bike operators, popularly called Okada riders. And Russia and Ukraine trade blames over attack on infrastructure following truce brokered by the United States.
In business, Nigeria begins 2-year tax exemption on pharmaceutical raw materials to bolster local production.
And in sports, Ivory Coast pull out as host of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, 30 days to the kickoff date. Details in a moment.
Welcome, everyone. Tonight begins right now. We begin tonight in the upper legislative chamber, where tensions flared over a motion to honor late Humphrey Nwosu, who was the former chairman of the National Electoral Commission. The lawmakers also expressed concerns over the rising cost of internet data in Nigeria, amongst other things. News Central's National Assembly correspondent Sagir Ibrahim has more.
It's kicked off. A motion of urgent national importance was raised by lawmaker Eyinaya Abaribe, calling for the Senate to immortalize late Humphrey Nwosu for his role in conducting what is still regarded as Nigeria's freest and fairest election. Abaribe stressed the historical importance of June 12 election, urging the Senate to honor the legacy of the man who led the National Electoral Commission at the time. His motion was, however, interrupted by the Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele, who pointed out that many senators had not yet received copies of the motion.
Professor Humphrey Nwosu supervised the 1993 presidential elections, aware that the courageous defense of democratic electoral process during the 1993 presidential election led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed Alhaji MKO Abiola as the winner.
A senator moving a motion under combined orders 41 and 51 shall ensure that copies of the motion are available for all senators when approval to move the motion is granted. This...
Mr. President, they are all available. They are all there with them. We brought it. We don't have it.
Well,
The presiding officer of the Senate then advised that the motion be stepped down until all lawmakers have access to the document.
Since the copies are not available, let's step it down until everybody gets it. We'll come back to it.
However, after confirmation that the motion had been circulated, Abaribe sought to continue. When the motion was put to a voice vote, the nays had it, effectively shutting it down. Abaribe, visibly displeased, again raised a point of order under Order 1B, but was again blocked by the Senate leader, who stated that the chamber had moved past the point in the day's order paper.
We are not under a dictatorship, Mr. President. That is why I'm using 1B to come.
Meanwhile, in another motion of urgent national importance, Asukwa Ekpeyong of Cross River South decried the increase in data cost by communication providers. He says that some providers had increased data prices by as much as 200%.
Senate notes that telecommunication providers in Nigeria have recently increased the cost of data services by as much as 200%, a move that has placed significant financial strain on millions of Nigerians, especially young people who rely on the internet for their livelihood. Urgent government intervention is required to ensure that affordable internet access remains available to all Nigerians, particularly the young Nigerians who are the backbone of Nigeria's digital economy.
The motion received broad support, with lawmakers backing the call for investigations and urgent reforms to address rising internet costs. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Sagir Ibrahim.
Let's head now to the lower chamber, where a bill to remove the immunity granted to vice presidents, governors, and their deputies has passed a second reading. The bill is one of 42 constitutional amendments passed by the House on Wednesday and is aimed at curbing corruption, impunity, as well as ensuring accountability in public office. News Central's correspondent Don Joseph has more.
Nigerian constitution is once again undergoing another round of amendments as lawmakers from the House of Representatives have passed 42 additional constitution amendment bills, pushing the total number of bills that have passed the second reading to 81. One major amendment that formed the key highlight of the review process is the bill that seeks to strip the vice president, governors and their deputies of constitutional immunity, a move considered to enhance accountability and reduce corruption.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to qualify immunity conferred on the president, remove the immunity conferred on the vice president, the governors and their deputies in order to curb corruption, eradicate impunity and enhance accountability in public office and for related matters. Second reading.
Also under review is a proposal seeking to ensure legal affairs are handled independently from political influence, creation of new states, and granting of citizenship rights to foreign spouses of Nigerian women, amongst others.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to separate the offices of the Attorney General of the Federation, Attorney General of a state from the offices of the Minister of Justice of the Federal Government and Commissioner for Justice of the Government of a state and for related matters. Second reading.
In addition to these amendments, lawmakers earlier raised issues of urgent national importance relating to public health crisis and infrastructure.
Alarming outbreak of meningitis in Ali Rugundu Jega Federal Constituency of Kebbi State, which has led to loss of lives as the cases continue to increase. The House also concerned that this outbreak is devastating to the affected communities.
The House observes that despite this significant investment, Nigeria's roads infrastructure remains in a deplorable state, with over 70% of the country's 200,000 kilometers road network still unpaved.
After considering the report of some of the bills already passed, the House then moved into a committee of the whole for a clause-by-clause consideration, including those transmitted from the Senate.
Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, the shadows, explanatory memorandum, the long title of the bill.
As the constitutional review process progresses, these amendments, like those previously passed, will undergo legislative scrutiny. In Abuja for News Central, Idonk Joseph.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Let's take a closer look at this story by bringing in Tunji Abdulhamid, a legal practitioner. He joins me from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. These bills are quite encompassing. What do you make of them?
Adesua, thank you for having me. I think some of the bill are necessary, but I doubt if some of the bill will go through at the end of the day. There's a need for us to amend our constitution to bring them in line with the changes in the society. And that has been done on several occasions, but some of them do not pass through due to one clock or the other. Because when you are amending the constitution, it doesn't end at National Assembly. The National Assembly, both houses, that is the House of Rep and the Senate, must be supported by not less than 2/3 majority of all members of both houses, the Senate and the Rep. And when that is done at that level, it will be sent to the state House of Assemblies, where it is required to be passed at not less than 2/3 of the House of Assemblies in all the states. So, and then when that is done again, the President is waiting for them. So it has to do with constitutional amendment, and Section 9 of the Constitution must be complied with. Yeah, I think they are doing their best in terms of looking at certain issues or regarding this area. The immunity they are talking about, the immunity clause. I don't see it going through. Right. I don't see it going through because.
Tuji, let me just come in here. Why do you think some of these bills, perhaps the majority of them, will not see the light of day? I mean, why wouldn't anyone want to see former office holders like vice presidents and governors stripped of their immunity to be investigated if they have done anything wrong? Why would anyone not want the judiciary to be independent? Like, why would this bill not go through?
Because our system is not independent. For instance, I tell you that by Section 9 of the Constitution, for a constitution to be amended, it must pass through the state House of Assemblies, which must be passed by not less than 2/3 of members of the House of Assembly in all the states. So, and you will know that our system, the way it works, most of the assemblies are under the control of the governors. So the governor whose immunity is to be removed will allow the House of Assembly to pass that bill into law. That is the point I'm making. And if in fact, if they deliberately omitted or removed that of the president from it, because they know when it gets to the president as well, he will not sign. So that's why they deliberately removed that as of the president. You know, for me, the immunity alone is not the problem why these people who are even in government or out of government are not being punished for their crime. Our system is not working. We have so many governors who are out of office today. How many of them are in court? How many of them are facing trial? There are people who are not even governors, who don't even have immunity. Our Senate president does not have immunity. I remember before he became a Senate president, while he was even campaigning to become a Senate president, the EFCC sent an invitation to him to come and answer for today. Nothing has happened and he's not being invited again as soon as he became the Senate president. So for me, it is lack of the system that's not working. And that's why we're having this. If you have a situation whereby we have House of Assembly that has their own independence, who are not control or under the control of the governors, yeah, I can say probably it may pass through. But today, I tell you, it is what the governors are looking for.
Right.
A House of Assembly that failed to pass autonomy of their own house.
Let me quickly come in here.
That will affect the governor.
Let me quickly come in here and just to wrap up this conversation. And the question is, in what ways might the proposed amendments impact the separation of powers between the legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government? Quickly before I let you go.
Which of the amendments? You know, there are so many amendments. Which one are you referring to?
Especially the ones with the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative, the ones that are addressing those issues.
It cannot impact it. They have the National Assembly has the power to amend the Constitution by section 9 of the Constitution. So if they are amending the Constitution, all the power being assigned by the judiciary are conferred on them by the Constitution and by our law. So, and who made the law? Who passed and section 9, like I said earlier, gave the National Assembly the power to amend or alter any provision of that Constitution, provided that those thresholds of 2/3 are met at both ends and the House of Assemblies. So there's no way it's going to impact on any independence. They are trying to amend the Constitution to exercising the power conferred on them by the Constitution.
Thank you so much. Tunji Abdul Hamid, a legal practitioner, speaking to us about the implication of the bills that were passed at the House of Representatives today. Let's hope it sees the light of the day. Thank you for coming tonight. Coming up, police boss tasks senior officers to uphold professionalism and maintain public trust. We have details on this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Tonight on News Central. I'm Adeshawa Josh. A reminder of our top stories. Bill to strip vice presidents and governors of immunity passes second reading in the House of Representatives. 2 persons reportedly killed in clash between Abuja Taskforce and commercial bike operators, popularly known as Okada riders. And Russia and Ukraine trade blames over attacks on infrastructure following truce brokered by the United States. We have some reports coming in, though it has not been independently confirmed by News Central. We're hearing that in Abuja, 2 persons were killed following a clash between commercial bike operators and a Federal Capital Territory Taskforce comprising security operatives from the different security agencies. Our correspondent, Amadin, visited the scene earlier and has the report.
It is the popular Galadima Bridge located just before Duse in Abuja. The location, known to be a very busy hub, is also a location for bricks business by commercial bike operators. Information received was that there was a clash between the bike operators and security operatives. However, when News Central got to the location, normalcy had been restored, but bloodstains were seen on the floor, showing signs of someone seriously wounded.
Now you can see all around me, you can see the burnt remains of tire which was set ablaze during the fracas between commercial bike operators and security operatives attached to the FCT Taskforce. Now, information we got from those who had spoken to around said that sometime this morning, a task force comprising of security operatives from the different security arms had stormed this location, trying to stop commercial bike operators from operating and seizing their bikes. Now, what followed was that the commercial bike operators had mobilized from the surrounding and began pelting the security operatives with stones. Now, in a bid to protect themselves and also to restore law and order, they began releasing bullets into the air and even tear gas canisters. 2 people were hit and died on the spot. This is the version of the eyewitness we met. The police has not confirmed this figure. They also said that 1 person was also hit on the leg and was seriously injured, who was carried by the police, including the remains of the 2 dead. Now, we have been trying to reach the FCT Police Command. They have not given us any figure or giving us an update on what exactly happened. But we are following up on this story and we'll continue to update you as more information comes in.
Still on police matters, Nigeria's Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has tasked all newly promoted officers of the force to uphold the responsibilities of their new roles and maintain public trust. Among those promoted are 20 senior officers elevated to the rank of Assistant Inspector Generals of Police and 19 others promoted to Commissioners of Police. The IG urged them to ensure fairness and act decisively against misconduct within their commands, while emphasizing on the need to embrace dedication, hard work, and professionalism.
I want to, however, remind you that every promotion comes with increased responsibility. It calls for elevated conduct. It's a solemn duty to lead, inspire, and uphold the highest standards of integrity. As senior officers, your leadership will directly shape the morale of those under your command and determine the quality of policing in our nation. As you take on these new roles, I urge you to lead by example, set the standard for discipline, ethics, and dedication. Uphold justice, take decisive decisions, and act decisively against misconduct and ensure fairness in all your dealings. Embrace accountability. Remember that public trust is a privilege that must be earned and protected.
I'm now being joined from Abuja by Lawrence Alobi, former police commissioner for the FCT. Good to have you tonight. You saw the video a couple of minutes ago of the newly decorated officials. They are supposed to help improve public trust and combat crime. How would you say, how easy is it to do right now for the police force?
Yeah, thank you for having me. First, let me join the IG and other officers in congratulating our officer who has been elevated to the exalted rank of AIG and William well. And in regards to the IG's call and the advice has given to them, I think it's very timely. Like you said, their leadership will greatly influence the conduct and performance of the officers under them. Because leadership determines followership. And the leaders, if a leader has principles, is a leader that has values, set values, then there's discipline, then there's belief in ensuring that the ethics of the profession and professionalism are being upheld. Of course, those under him, normally they key in immediately. So leadership determines followership. So what that is saying is very, very right and very timely. And I'm sure officers will imbibe this and also ensure that they put in all this counseling to action and to ensure that, like I said, trust is earned, and you work for you to earn trust. You must work for that trust to be earned.
Right.
And the citizens are very key for effective policing. Without the citizens, the police cannot effectively police society. The citizens need the police, and the police also need citizens.
What would you say the most present challenges are facing the Nigeria police force?
The police challenges in the Nigerian police are, in fact, They are enormous. Challenges are overwhelming in terms of training, in terms of funding, in terms of poor infrastructure, in terms of discipline, and even if the reforms that have been orchestrated the past years, reforms are not just cosmetic. Reforms should be holistic and applied in the one that will add value to policing, not only policing, also add value to the welfare, the performance and capacity of the police officers and men. So a lot of, in terms that I said for funding, the police is poorly funded. You see, most police stations don't have patrol vehicles. Most police stations don't even have bail, don't have good offices. And you see, like we're during our time when we're junior officers, if you go on evidence,
all right, I may have lost you there. Mr. Lawrence Alobi, if you can hear me.
They're giving allowances, evidence. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm saying that the police is facing a lot of challenges in terms of manpower deficit, the police strength is inadequate as compared to the population of the country.
Right.
If you compare it with what the United Nations standard, that one policeman to 400 persons, we have less than 450 policemen, policing over 200 million people. That is inadequate. We have issue of poor funding.
Right.
The police is growing that.
Let me come in here quickly, sir. So that's a lot of problems. Humongous, if you like. Where should the police leadership start from in addressing these reforms?
The leaderships at all levels of the force. Leadership we have three. In the police, we have three major ranks: the rank and file, the inspectorate, and the senior police officers.
Oh, I think you got my question wrong.
We have officers who supervise and superintend over other officers and men.
Mr. Alobi, I think you got my question wrong. I'm saying of all these issues, you have listed a whole lot of them. Where should the reform start from? What's the first thing they should do to fix some of these problems?
Oh, reform should not only be considered on any one aspect. Reform should be holistic, because you need to be holistic to ensure that the effectiveness of the force is being achieved. The problem of the force is being achieved. For instance, like issue of police and the public. How friendly is the police to the public, and how friendly is the public to the police? How that aspect should be addressed, because the police have to ensure that they win the hearts of the citizens, to build trust, to gain trust. And in terms of transparency and accountability, how issue of corruption, police and the institution is a micro unit of Nigerian society. The Nigerian society where is known for its corruption has permitted all aspects of society. And the police itself also is an institution within Nigerian society, the macro unit. So we have to ensure that the police have to make sure they fight corruption to end trust. They have to make sure that they promote accountability and transparency, and ensure that professionalism is being practiced based on international standard, and that can only be achieved through training and capacity building. When all this, the ethic, the professional ethics of the force and values are being upheld, it brings about the dignity of the force. Those values are being promoted, and all officers of the force imbibe and put these values into practice. It will transform the force, and its image will also be changed and appreciated.
That's right. Thank you so much for your thoughts, Mr. Lawrence Alobi, former police commissioner for the FCT. Thank you for coming tonight. Now let's go to Rivers State, where the state government has suspended all political office holders and appointees across the state, effective immediately. This decision was made pursuant to the powers conferred on the state's administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, by President Bola Tinubu, who suspended former Governor Siminalayi Fubara. According to the statement issued by the Chief of Staff to the sole administrator, the suspended officials are directed to hand over to the permanent secretaries in their respective ministries, departments, and agencies In cases where no permanent secretary is in place, the most senior director or head of administration is to take over. Still in Rivers, the National Democratic Coalition in the United States of America has strongly condemned President Bola Tinubu's decision to impose a state of emergency in Rivers State, calling for an immediate reversal. Nadeco USA said in a statement that Nigeria's federal system makes Rivers State a sovereign entity within it and cannot therefore be unilaterally subjected to emergency rule by the president. The group further questioned Tinubu's legitimacy, President Tinubu's legitimacy, arguing that his presidency remains under a cloud of electoral irregularities and credibility disputes. The statement signed by its president, Lloyd Uku, emphasized that sovereignty in a democracy resides with the citizens, not an unelected administrator. And counter-reactions have continued to trail the declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State. This comes as the immediate past chairman of the 23 local government areas in the state declared their support for the suspended governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara. News Center's correspondent Biola Festus has the details.
It's been 1 week since the enthronement of emergency rule in Rivers State, with a sole administrator at the helm of affairs in the state. In the meantime, the political ambience in the state is yet to gain complete balance, with all eyes focused on the actions of the sole administrator. One of such actions, the appointment of a new secretary to the state government and the head of service, has not gone down well with some stakeholders in the state, as they describe it as a calculated ploy to capture Rivers State's treasury.
The sole administrator is in Port Harcourt. The president says he does not have the powers to make rules. But information's going around now that he's about to remove the head of local governments and HPMs to appoint sole administrators. Not just appoint sole administrators, but to remove the head of local governments, remove the HPMs. Is that part of his job? I weep. They should leave good Nigeria for us.
As a result, the immediate past local government chairmen in Rivers State have come forward in defense of suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara, noting that he was wrongly accused of not obeying the Supreme Court's ruling on the political crisis that rocked the state. The chairman, drawn from all 23 local government areas of the state, at a press briefing in Port Harcourt, said there is more to desire in the proclamation of an emergency rule, arguing that they stepped down from their elective positions in compliance with the Supreme Court's judgment.
Following the Supreme Court judgment of February 28, 2025, we as law-abiding citizens dutifully obeyed your directive to hand over to the heads of local government administration in our respective local government areas in compliance with the court's decision. It is therefore deeply disheartening that persons with ulterior motives will intentionally misinform Mr. President, claiming that you failed to obey the Supreme Court's ruling, when in reality, you, our governor, have consistently demonstrated respect for the rule of law. Additionally, in furtherance to the compliance of the Supreme Court's judgment, your relentless effort to present the 2025 budget to the House of Assembly, which was unfortunately frustrated by individuals who choose to put personal and political interests above the well-being and stability of Rivers State, was clearly seen by all Nigerians. Despite these setbacks, your determination to serve the state with integrity remains evident to all.
While enumerating moves made by Fubara to comply with the Supreme Court's decision, the ex-council chairman promised to stand by the suspended governor until his storms are over.
In light of these challenges, we, along with the vast majority of Rivers people, both politically affiliated and non-affiliated, stand solidly behind you. We remain steadfast in our support and await your directive on the way forward for the peace, progress, and stability of Rivers State. Your Excellency, sir, Nigerians and the world at large see you as a leader who stood firm and have continued to stand firm for justice, development, and the security and stability of Rivers State.
The former council bosses believe this is the most critical time for Rivers people to be more united and rally support for the suspended governor despite the current challenges. In Rivers, for News Central, Biola Festus.
Away from River State to health matters, a 25-year-old member of the National Youth Service Corps has reportedly died of Lassa fever at a secondary health facility in Ijebu North, at local government area of Ogun State. Sources say the female Corps member fell sick while in Ondo State and was brought to the health facility last Tuesday and later died same day. The revelation was made in a statement released by the Commissioner of Health, Tomi Koka, on Wednesday, confirming the outbreak of Lassa fever in the state. She urged members of the community to report to the hospital if any symptoms were noticed, adding that the ministry was collaborating with the rapid response team at Ijebu Northeast in keeping the situation under control. Wife of Nigeria's President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has flagged off the Free to Shine triple elimination campaign for HIV/AIDS, syphilis and hepatitis in Asaba Delta State capital. Senator Tinubu harped on the need to deepen engagement with traditional faith-based institutions with a view to addressing cultural and religious influences on HIV prevention behaviors, especially those engaging in virtual services.
So the Free to Shine campaign is an advocacy initiative led by the African Union, the Organization of the African First Ladies for Development and global partners. The goal of this campaign is to address the growing complacency in the response to the spread of HIV/AIDS in Africa, Nigeria being the country with the highest burden of HIV/AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa due to its large population, faces significant challenges. This burden is particularly severe among children, youth, women, and marginalized groups. The Free to Shine campaign seeks to significantly reduce new HIV infections among women and reproductive age, prevent mother-to-child transmission, vertical transmission, and ensure that every child born with HIV receives the necessary treatment for support to thrive.
We believe that as more women achieve financial independence, they will be in a better position to make better decisions regarding their choices in life. Hence, we consider ourselves partners with Your Excellency and Offland in the campaign against this public health challenge.
Outside our shores, Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of violating the truce on energy facility strikes, which was brokered by the United States. The European Union has also thrown a wrench into the negotiations, declaring it will not meet Russia's conditions for a planned ceasefire in the Black Sea. Earlier this week, the United States brokered separate deals with both Moscow and Kyiv, aiming to pause attacks in the Black Sea and against each other's energy infrastructure. But despite these agreements, tensions are rising, and the rhetoric from both sides indicate they are still far apart. On Russia's demand, the European Union has made it clear that any sanctions relief would only happen once Russia fully withdraws from Ukraine. The British government on Wednesday laid out plans for higher military spending and cuts to social benefits. This is as the country sought to keep the finances on track in what it called a, quote, more uncertain world, unquote. Well, British Finance Minister Rachel Reeves, in her spring statement, said the UK government is making billions of pounds of spending cuts to shore up the public purse and boost the defense budget, with the 2025 growth forecast set to halve. Concerns over U.S. tariffs and the war in Ukraine have added to the UK's economic woes, chipping away at the government's fiscal cushion.
Now our task is to secure Britain's future in a world that is changing before our eyes. The threat facing our continent was transformed when Putin invaded Ukraine. It has since escalated further and will continue to evolve rapidly. At the same time, the global economy has become more uncertain, bringing insecurity at home as trading patterns become more unstable and borrowing costs rise for many major economies. So today I can confirm that I will provide an additional £2.2 billion for the Ministry of Defence in the next financial year, a further down payment on our plans to deliver 2.5% of GDP by 2027. This additional investment is not just about increasing our national security, but increasing our economic security too.
We'll have more stories on the economy after this break. Do stay with us. Joanna joins me now with the latest in business news. Joanna, what do we have?
That's right. Incentives to boost production in the drug industry. We know that medical prices of drugs had gone up significantly, 100% December 2024. So some incentives to boost local production. I'll bring you more on this after this break.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
The Nigerian government has initiated a 2-year exemption for import duty and value-added tax on critical raw materials for pharmaceutical production. Announced by the Nigeria Customs Service, this exemption covers active pharmaceutical ingredients, excipients, materials for essential medicines. Approved by President Bola Tinubu, the initiative hopes to strengthen Nigeria's healthcare sector and reduce costs while boosting local manufacturing. With over 70% of medicines currently imported, the government seeks to meet 70% of domestic demand by 2030. Only recognized pharmaceutical manufacturers with a valid tax identification number can benefit from this incentive. And Nigeria's total credit to the private sector fell to 73.66 trillion naira in February 2025, marking a consecutive monthly decline, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. This drop from 74.92 trillion naira in January and 75.96 trillion naira in December 2024 reflects an approximate 8.9% year-on-year contraction. Analysts attribute this trend to the CBN's stringent monetary policies, increased interest rates, and cautious lending practices amid rising default risk. The decline may hinder economic growth, particularly affecting small and medium-sized enterprises reliant on bank loans, prompting calls for a balanced approach to support credit flow while controlling inflation. And on Wednesday, March 26th, Parliament passed a bill to abolish the electronic transfer levy, a move widely welcomed by Ghanaians. The bill will now be sent to President John Mahama for assent. Introduced in 2022 by the previous NPP administration, the e-levy imposed a 1.5% tax on electronic transactions, aiming to generate revenue for infrastructure. However, it faced significant opposition due to its adverse effect on low-income earners and the unbanked. The passage reflects the NDC's campaign promise to abolish the tax, with no dissenting voice in Parliament during the vote. And on the local bourse, the NGX breaks its winning streak, shedding 74 billion naira today, Wednesday. It fell 0.11%. We're seeing the market capitalization down to 66.14 trillion. All-share index is at 105,475.38. Coming to sectoral performance, it wasn't too bad, but obviously not enough to boost, confidence across board. Fairly positive sectoral performance. Insurance is leading. Their NEM Insurance emerged one of the top gainers today, so we're seeing insurance up 2.64%. Banking boosted by GTCO, oil and gas, Eterna, it's up marginally. Consumer goods as well is up today, and industrial goods is flat. That is business tonight. I am Joanna Mustafa. Tonight continues with Adeshewa.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome back, everyone. I have Udoka here with me with some sports updates. The Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations host pulls out.
Yeah, well, it is Ivory Coast. They've pulled out of hosting that tournament, and now they've been disqualified from featuring in the Under-20 tournament, and CAF are looking for a new host, and we have just 30 days to the start of the tournament.
I wonder why, but...
Yeah, well, I'll give you more details after this short break.
All right.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Now, the Confederation of African Football is now searching for a new host for the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations after Ivory Coast withdrew just 30 days before the tournament's scheduled kickoff. The decision, announced by the Ivorian Football Federation on Tuesday, has sent shockwaves through African football. Ivory Coast, which has only confirmed as host in December 2024, have secured its place in the tournament after initially failing to qualify. With the Ivorian national team automatically disqualified, the country could also face heavy sanctions from CAF, including potential exclusion from the next 2 Under-20 AFCON tournaments. The Under-20 men's football competition is scheduled to take place between 26th of April and the 18th of May 2025, and it remains to be seen whether the sudden withdrawal of Ivory Coast will force CAF to postpone the tournament. And in the Nigeria Premier Football League, Bayelsa United ended Rivers United's 6-game unbeaten run with a 1-0 win in front of their home fans in Yenagoa. The result means Bayelsa United moves up to 11th on the log with 41 points, while Rivers United remain 5 points behind league leaders Grandma Stars, who play Enyimba on Thursday. In other games, Abia Warriors defeated relegation-bound Lobi Stars 2-0. Kora United secured a 1-0 win over Nasarawa United, and there was a goalless draw between Kano Pillars and Bendel Insurance, while Sunshine Stars, who have returned to the Dipo Dena Stadium in Ijebu-Ode, also played out a goalless draw with Heartland of Owerri. Now, the winner of this year's expanded FIFA Club World Cup in the United States will receive up to $125 million in prize money. A total prize fund of $1 billion for the event, which runs from June 14th to the 13th of July, had already been made public, but FIFA has now broken down the sums for the 32 participating teams. Each team will share in the $525 million pot for participating, while a further $475 million will be distributed according to performance in the tournament. With additional bonuses, the team that emerges victorious from the 7 matches played could receive up to $125 million. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said all proceeds from the event will be redistributed to club football. And in basketball, the NBA is to review a proposal to create a European Basketball League after a report detailed a new competition that could feature up to 10 teams. It was reported that league owners will consider a plan that includes 8 to 10 franchises, including up to 4 teams who already play in the Euro League, which happens to be Europe's top club competition. Now, the proposed league would also feature new franchises in cities such as London and Paris, which could be worth as much as $500 million, according to reports. An NBA spokesperson said the league would consider the issue of European League this week, noting that any new competition would be launched in partnership with World Basketball's governing body, FIBA. And finally, in tennis, 5-time major champion Iga Swiatek is being protected by increased security after an aggressive and taunting fan verbally abused her at the Miami Open. The 23-year-old Swiatek was targeted by the man in a practice session on Saturday. It is believed the man shouted personal insults about Swiatek's family. The world number 2's representative said the man had previously sent abusive online messages to her through social media. Now, Swiatek's representatives added the incident was immediately reported to tournament organizers, and her experience comes a month after Britain's Emma Raducanu was targeted by a stalker at the Dubai Tennis Championships. And that's a wrap on Sport Updates. I am Udoka Njoko.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
A little? I can hear you, yes.
Welcome back. Edo is here from our entertainment desk with the latest in the world of entertainment. Edo, what do we have today? I'm hearing about a Chris Brown, Davido collaboration.
Yeah, well, not just a collaboration. We're talking about a tour. Aha! You know, it's
delicious.
It's going to be like, people are already super excited that we can't wait because we know that Davido and Chris Brown, they've been doing good music together. And now if they decide to go on tour, that's going to be huge.
Are they coming to Africa?
Well, they haven't brought out the dates yet, but definitely, where would they go if they don't come to Africa?
I mean, Nigeria?
Well, I'll bring you all the details shortly.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
All right, now let's jump right into it. Our own very, very super sensation, Davido, recently made an appearance on Crow Santino's Subaru Boy stream, where he dropped exciting details about his upcoming album and other major projects. Now, during the stream, Davido shared that his new album will feature collaborations with Omale, produced by Tempo. He also is bringing back the talented producer and artist Sele Bobo for the project. But the most thrilling news was that his collaboration with Chris Brown. Now, Davido revealed that he and Chris Brown have recorded several songs together, but haven't decided where to release them. That's not strange though. But as a result, they decided to drop a joint project after Davido's album titled 5. Now, following the album's release, they'll embark on a joint tour. Fans can't wait, and they're super excited for this, and they're hoping that this would make sure that we know our very own Davido takes that spot as he has always done to make Africa proud. And yes, that's a great one for Davido there. So Adeshewa, are you going to be grabbing a ticket for Davido and Chris Brown? Who's your favorite? If you
watch them from the comfort of my apartment, but yeah.
What? What?
I'm more jazz, and I'm more a John Legend. I would go off the cliff.
So you're not a Davido fan?
I am a Davido fan, and I love Chris Brown. I mean, that guy is Nigerian at heart.
Yes.
But I don't know if I'll struggle for a ticket to go and watch them. Sorry, don't come for me, but that's just the truth.
Well, okay.
But you see, I love their music.
It's fine.
Yeah,
we will take it.
You asked because, and you know I would always tell you the truth if you ask. It's just to blend.
Well, let's talk about another guy. This guy, Travis Scott, will be bringing his highly anticipated Circus Maximus tour to Johannesburg, South Africa in November 2025. Now, after the massive success of his Utopia album and sold-out performances across North America and Europe, the hip-hop superstar is now ready to bring his explosive stage presence and high-energy performances to Africa, with Johannesburg as a key stop. Although full details regarding the concert venue, ticket sales, and a possible edition tour dates have not yet been revealed, anticipation is already building. But, people are super excited to see his electrifying performance, and Scott's Johannesburg concert is expected to be one of the year's biggest music event in South Africa, offering fans an unforgettable night of music and excitement. Okay.
Is that they're all coming to Africa.
It's good. Let's just leave it like that.
Let's leave it there.
That's all on entertainment.
Thanks, Adele. And that's the news tonight. But before we go, here's a reminder of our top stories. Let's take a look at them one after the other. Bill to strip vice presidents and governors of immunity passes second reading in the House of Representatives. 2 persons reportedly killed in clash between Abuja Taskforce and commercial bike operators, popularly called Okada riders. And Russia and Ukraine trade blames over attacks on infrastructure following truce brokered by the United States. Don't forget to send in your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. Follow us on all social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central TV on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, AVO TV, and of course, on YouTube. We would like to thank you all for watching. I'm Adeshewa Josh. I'll see you around.